Hello everybody. In today's session we will look into the other kinds of loop structures that are supported by the C programming. I hope in the last session you have understood the while statement that is supported by the C programming language, and the other kinds of loop structures are the do while statement. Here in the do while statement, it is an exit controlled loop structure, whereas the while statement is an entry control loop structure. So, that is why the condition is going to be specified at the end of the loop body. And a do while statement is similar to a while statement, except that the do while is always guaranteed to execute at least once. So, that is why we call it as an exit control loop structure. So, let us look at the flow diagram of the do while statement. Here you see the conditional code that has already been executed, and at the end of the conditional code we are checking a condition, and if this condition happens to be true, it would get back to the loop statement or the conditional code that would be repeatedly executed. And suppose this condition becomes false, the program control comes out of the block. The syntax of this do while statement would be something like this, that is, you have a do followed with a single statement or a multiple statements, that is the loop body. Finally, you have the while condition. So, we specify the condition, and this condition could be a single or a simple condition or multiple conditions, or what we call as the compound conditions, using the logical operators, that is the or and not operations. So, here you see the do while is an exit controlled loop, that is why we are specifying the condition at the end of the loop body. And notice that the conditional expression appears at the end of the loop. So, the statements in the loop is always executed at least once. So, let us look at a simple example by making use of this do while structure. You have a variable called a which has a value 10, and we are trying to output the value of this a and increment the value and then check the condition. So, here you have the initial value of a is equal to 10, and we are giving a condition that until a's value is less than 15, keep printing the value of a and incrementing the value simultaneously. So, here our output should be, that is, initially the value of a is equal to 10. So, the value of a is equal to 10 is printed over here, and then it is incremented. So, it becomes 11, and we are checking a condition whether 11 less than 15, which happens to be true. So, the control is transferred back to the loop body. So, the value of a would now be 11. So, 11 is printed, then again incremented, so on. This repeats until this condition becomes false. So, what would be our output of this program? Our output would be the value of a would be printed as 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, that is until a attains a value of 15. So, that is another loop structure that is supported by C, that is the do while statement. Next, we come to the for statement. In the for statement, it is again a repetition control structure to write a loop that needs to execute a specific number of times. In the last session, I had told you that we have two types of loops. One is the counter controlled loop and the other is the sentinel controlled loop. So, the for statement definitely falls into the counter controlled loop, meaning that when we know the specific number of times the loop body is going to be executed, it is nothing but the counter controlled loop. So, here The flow diagram of the for statement, as you see, is you have a initiation being done, that is we have a control variable that we are going to use, and that control variable will receive an initial value, and then we check with a condition. Following that condition, we have the conditional code that is going to be executed. That is, when the condition becomes true, the conditional code is going to be executed, and then the control variable's value that we had initiated earlier would be incremented or decremented depending on the circumstances of our program. So, the updation of the control variable happens over here, and after this updation is being done, again we get back to check the condition whether it is true or false. If the condition happens to be true, then the conditional code is going to be executed. So, this keeps repeating, that is, once the initiation of the control variable has been done, then the condition checking, the conditional code execution, and in updation of the control variable keeps repeating until the condition becomes false. So, we see the data flow diagram as follows. The syntax of the for statement that we use in the C programming language would be as follows. That is, you have a for keyword followed within a small parenthesis like this, three basic parameters, that is the initiation, the condition, then the increment, and it is followed with the brace like this if you have multiple statements over here. If it is a simple statement, then even without the brace it would be executed. So, here this initiation is going to be executed once, then the condition is checked. If the condition happens to be true, the statements in the loop are going to be executed. After this, the increment happens. After the incrementation, again the condition is checked, then it goes like this, that is checking the condition, coming to the statement execution, going back to the increment, then again the condition checking. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, again 5, 6, 7, it keeps on going until the condition becomes false. So, this is what you see. The initiation step is executed first and only once in the for statement. This step allows us to declare and initialize any loop control variables. So, in the previous exam, in the syntax we saw there is an initiation. This initiation could take place for a single control variable or multiple control variables too. And next, the condition is evaluated. If it is true, the body of the loop is executed. If it is false, the body of the loop does not execute and the flow of control jumps to the next statement just after the for block or the loop body. And after the body of the loop executes, the flow of control jumps back to the increment or the decrement statement. So, as we saw, the last part of the for statement is the updation of the control variable. So, you are going to get to the increment or the decrement part, and this statement allows you to update any loop control variables. And finally, the condition is now evaluated again. If it is true, the loop body executes and the process repeats itself. So, as I told you, the body of the loop, then increment step, and then checking the condition. This is a cycle until the condition becomes false. So, a simple example to show how the for statement could be used in a C program. You have for an integer a is initialized to a value 10 in the beginning, and then the condition is checked whether a is less than the value 16. Yes, it is true. So, the body of the for statement is executed. So, here we are just printing the value of a. So, the value of a, since it is 10 in the beginning, so it would be printed as 10 over here. and following with this block, that is the for block is ending over here. So, it gets back to the increment part over here, and we are incrementing the value of a, that is a becomes 11. And after incrementing, we need to check the condition whether it is true. So, here we are checking for the value a, that is 11 less than 16, which happens to be true. So, the body of the loop is again executed. So, the value 11 is printed over here. So, that keeps repeating until the condition becomes a false over here. So, your result would be 10, 11, 12, so on till 15. The value of a would have been assumed, and it is printed as so. We can nest these loop structures, that is having one loop within another loop. So, an example which shows a nested for loop structure, that is you have for initiation, condition and increment, within that another for loop, and then the statement body of the inner for, then the statement body of the outer for block. So, here we call this as the outer outer for loop, and this as the inner for loop. So, at any point of time, if we have such kind of nested loop structures, the first time the outer loop is going to be executed, and then when it gets into the inner loop body or structure, the entire inner loop structure would be completed. That is, the execution of the inner loop will be completed, and then it gets to the outer loop body. So, this is a notation where we are seeing a nested for loop. In the similar manner, we can also have a nested while loop, which has the same kind of structure, that is you have one while loop structure as a outer block and another inner while structure which happens to be enclosed within the outer while loop. So, the same thing happens, the inner loop body is always executed and completed, and then the outer body would be checked. In the similar manner, we also have a nested do while loop. Just look into the syntax how we could use these nested loops, and it necessarily not be that we have to use the nested loops with the same kind of loop structures, that is a while within a loop, a while within a while, a do while within a do while need not be. It could also be that you can make use of a while statement within a for statement or a for statement within a do while statement. We will look into these examples in our further sessions, but as of now we could make use of the nested loop structures in the manner that we saw. So, a final note on loop nesting is, as I told you, that it necessarily not be the same kind of loop structures. So, you could have a for loop inside a while loop or vice versa too. Next, so there we have come across the different types of loop control structures, that is C supports 3 types of loop structures. One is the while statement, the other is the do while statement, and the third is the for statement. Apart from this, we can make use of a break statement within a loop structure. Earlier we had seen this break keyword being used in somewhere in the C programming. Just recollect where we had seen this break statement. We had used this break statement in the switch statement. So, this break statement could also be used in a loop control structure, that is when the break statement is encountered inside a loop, the loop is immediately terminated and the program control resumes at the next statement following the loop body. So, whenever we give a break statement within a loop block, then the execution of the entire loop body is going to be terminated abruptly, and the program control is going to be transferred to the next statement following this loop block. And the next place where we made use of the break statement is, as I told you, we had used it in the switch statement, which could be used to terminate a case in the switch statement. So, now look at the flow diagram of the break statement. We are already executing the conditional code, and suppose we encounter a break statement while execution of the condition code, then it causes an abrupt termination of the program and it comes out of the body of the loop. Otherwise, the conditional code, the condition, if the condition happens to be true, it goes back to the conditional code. So, a break statement is used to terminate abruptly from the loop body. The syntax of the break statement would be just the keyword break. This could be preceded by checking a condition, say for example, if condition then break. Okay. So, if the condition happens to be true, then it would break from that particular loop body. Just look at this simple example where we are making use of this break statement. Here we have a variable a which is initialized with a value 10, and we are checking with a condition while a less than 20, which happens to be true. So, it prints the value of a, then increments the value of a, then we are checking with a condition if a greater than 15, then break. So, here could you guess what the output of this program would be? You have the initial value of a to be 10, and then checking a condition which happens to be true, then we are printing the value of a over here, then we are incrementing the value of a, we are checking with this condition a greater than 15. Suppose this condition becomes true, then we are going to break. So, our output would be 10 for the first time, then 11, 12, 13, 14, and then when a gets the value of 16, okay. So, we would be breaking. So, our output would be the value of a would be 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So, this many number of times this particular loop body would be executed, and since we have given a condition over here, if this happens, that is a greater than 15 happens, then we are going to terminate the loop execution. Then, if you are making use of a nested loop, and in these nested loop structures, if you are using the break statement, then which loop body would be terminated? Let us see. Suppose you have a loop body, that is a while condition, and following that you have number of statements, and then the inner loop, that is for statement, in which the break statement has been given. So, here you have for I is equal to 0, and we are incrementing the value of I, and the final value of I would be 10. And we are checking if I is equal to 6, break. So, when this I value is been incrementing, when it would become 6, then the break statement would have to be executed, because this condition becomes true. So, when we execute the break statement, then the termination of the loop happens over here, but the loop that is the for loop itself is going to break, that is the program control is going to be transferred to the next statement following the for block. So, it comes over here. So, your while block is still not finished. So, once the while block is going to be finished, that is when the condition is going to be checked and it is going to be executed again, suppose the condition happens to be true, again the for body is going to be executed, because it is a fresh execution for the while loop. Next we have the continue statement. Continue again is a standard keyword in the C language, and here the continue statement also works in the similar fashion as that of a break statement, but only thing that the whole termination of the loop body does not happen in the continue statement, but this continue forces the next iteration of the loop to take place, that is the current execution of that loop would be terminated with a fresh value of the next of the control variable, the loop body is going to be executed. That is what we mean to say continue will cause the next iteration of the loop. So, for the for loop, continue statement causes the conditional test and increment portions of the loop to execute. For the while and do while loops, continue statement causes the program control to check the conditional tests. The syntax of the continue statement would just be the keyword continue, and as we saw the data flow diagram of the break statement, the continue is also going to be given in the similar fashion. So, the flow diagram of a continue statement would be the conditional code is already been executed, and in case the conditional code is already been executed, and in case we have specified a continue statement over here, so it would continue with the next iteration of the loop after checking the condition. I will just show a simple example where we are using a continue statement. We have a integer variable which is initialized to value 10, and then we have a loop body, that is a do while statement. So, here you are saying if a is equal to 15 is the condition that we are checking, and if that happens a would be equal to a plus 1, and then we are continuing. So, as of now, since the value of a is equal to 10, so this condition is not satisfied. So, it simply comes to the statement over here, that is printf. So, the value of a is going to be printed. What is the value of a? Right now it is 10. So, it would print the value 10 and then increment the value of a by 1, and then we are checking the condition while a less than 20. So, since a is now 11, this condition is satisfied. So, it gets back to the loop body over here, and then it checks the value of a whether it is equal to 15. It is still not 15. So, it goes to the statement, that is printf statement, and prints the value of a, increments the value, checks the condition, so on. And now let us assume that a has been incremented to a value 15 over here. So, when it gets back to this loop body, it checks this condition, and then it is simply going to increment the value of a, that is a would be equal to 16 over here, and then we say continue. That is, when we say continue, it goes to this condition over here, that is whether a is less than 20. What is the value of a? We have told that a is equal to a plus 1 over here. So, it would be 16. Then we are checking the condition whether 16 is less than 20, which happens to be true. So, we will get back to the loop body over here. So, now what is the output of this program? This program output would be something like this. The value of A is being printed multiple number of times, with each time with one value incremented. So, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and you see that the value of 15 is missing over here. Why? Because when we check the condition A is equal to 15, we simply incremented the value of A to become 16 and we told continue. So, the rest part of the loop body was not executed over here. So, when we executed continue, it came directly to this condition. When the condition was checked, since the condition was true, it came back to the beginning of the do loop. So, the value of 15 is never printed over there, and the rest of the other values, that is until this A's value is 19, the value of A would be printed, because we had given a condition while A less than 20. So, that is why you had the value for A from 10 to 19 except for the value 15. This is one example where we are seeing a different kind of a for loop. That is, earlier I told you in the for loop you have 3 parameters. One is the initiation, the condition, and then the increment or the decrement part. But here, as you see, you just have 2 semicolons over here, which means to say that the 3 parameters have not been explicitly given. So, now suppose we execute this program, what would the output be? You try out with this example and see what the output is. And within the loop body, you see print, the loop will run forever, meaning that this is going to end up with an infinite loop, because we do not have any control variable that is either been initialized, or we do not have any terminating condition that has been given over here. So, that is why this loop is going to be executed infinite number of times. So, your printf statements will keep printing and scrolling down until you give a break for that. So, to summarize the entire loop structures, any control flow you might want through your program can be created using a combination of a sequential execution. So, as we know, a sequential execution is one which is going to be executed one statement after another in a straight line manner. And then you have conditionals, that is by making use of your if statements and its different types of variants, we can cause the control flow to flow through the program. And then you have the loops, that is the 3 different loops that we saw now. Look at this example. You have a for loop over here, and this looks quite complicated. Here you have 2 initiation control variables, that is one control variable is the I variable and the other control variable is the power 2, where these are initialized to a value 0 and 1. And as we know, this initiation part is going to be executed only once in the for statement. So, after taking these values, the variables are going to be changed later on by using these increment or decrement operators. So, here you have the terminating condition as I less than or equal to 4. and the incrementing part or the updation part of the control variable is given as I plus plus, and power of 2 is equal to power of 2 into 2. And within the for statement, that is the loop, you have a printf statement where we are trying to print the values of both these variables I and power of 2. So, my question is, how many times is this loop going to be executed? So, it is as simple as we understand over here, that is, how many times is this loop executed? If we want to know, you just look into this terminating condition. So, here in this terminating condition, we have been told, we are telling that I should be less than or equal to 4. So, then what is the initial value of I? The initial value of I is equal to 0. So, for the first time the I takes the value 0, then I is incremented by 1 as we see over here. So, the next time it takes the value 1, then it takes the value 2, then 3, then 4. If it has to take the value of 5, it does not allow, because your terminating condition is going to be less than or equal to 4. So, that is why the number of times this loop is going to be executed is from 0 to 4, that is 5 number of times. Then the next part of the question is, what is the output of this code segment? To look at this, okay, we will just execute this program. Just look at this program, it is the same coding. You have two variables I and power of 2, and we have an initial value of I equal to 0 and power of 2 is equal to 1, and the terminating condition I is less than or equal to 4, and we are incrementing the value of I by 1 each time and power of 2 by the multiple of 2, that is power of 2 is equal to power of 2 into 2. And we are trying to print this particular variable values. So, when we execute this program, let us see what the output of it would be. So, the output of this program would be, that is, the number of times this is going to be executed is 5 times, as I told you earlier, and the values of this would be, the I has taken the value every time as 1 greater the previous value. So, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the power of 2 value is going to be 1, 2, 4, 8 and 16. So, that is what the output would be like. Now, say for example, as we have finished the control structures, that is the different types of control structures including the switch statement, then you have the loop control structures. We will look into some simple structures such that we are just going to understand the logic of all these control structures. So, in the later sessions maybe we would be able to solve some more complicated programs or problems. So, here suppose you have a program such as this. This program is actually to accept a character and then check whether that character is a vowel or a consonant. So, here we are declaring a character data type, that is a variable ch, and then we are trying to accept a character. So, a percentage %C and ampersand ch. So, there we are accepting a character, and then we make use of the switch statement, switch character, and then I am specifying the cases, that is the switch cases. Case, we know that the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. So, I will just give some of them, whether it be a uppercase or a lower case. So, we need to check them because C is a case sensitive language. So, both of them make a difference. And I will stop over here. We know that we have 5 vowels, but right now I would stop for this. And if this is the case, then I would be printing that the given character is a vowel. Okay. And then I need to specify my break statement. And then finally I would give my default case, where I am talking about the consonant part. So, I will say it as printf and I need not specify the break statement for the default case. So, I will end my switch block, end my program. Then let us try executing this program. I will enter a character, say D, and it says D is a consonant. Suppose I give a vowel, say A, and it says A is a vowel. Fine. So, there you see we are using a switch statement trying to find out whether the given character is a vowel or a consonant. So, for that we are accepting a character and specifying that as a switch variable and trying to put all those different types of vowels over here. I have specified both of them, that is in the lower case as well as the upper case, because C is a case sensitive language, and I have specified only few of these vowels which you could continue for all of them. And then Here all these are null statements, that is when the case A is executed, since it is a oval I am not writing anything for that. So, the case is going to seep into the control is going to seep into the next switch cases. So, when it comes to the last switch case over here, it is going to print that this particular character is a oval and then break out of the switch block. Otherwise, if the given character do not match any of these switch cases, then it comes to the default case where it says it is a consonant. So, this is a program to find whether the given character is a oval or a consonant. Another example where you have a while statement, that is, this is a very simple example where you have a variable of type integer given a value 10, and then we are checking a condition while I greater than 0, which happens to be true over here, and we are printing the statement, that is hello, and the value of I. Next we are decrementing the value of I, so I becomes 9, and after this is the end of the while block, so it gets back to the condition over here. So, it checks with the condition whether it is greater than 0. So, this is being repeatedly done until the condition becomes false. So, what is the output of this program? The program output would be, that is, for the first time the value of I is equal to 10 and it keeps decrementing every time, and we have specified the condition that I should be greater than 0. So, in order to satisfy that condition, until I's value is 1, this loop body is going to be executed. Now, let us look at another example. This specifies a do while loop. And then I am specifying the condition while. This is a special type of condition that we are specifying over here, while 0, printf after the loop, and then we are ending the program. So, what is the output that you expect out of this program? That is, we are saying do print a statement, that is, it is in the loop, and then we are giving a condition while 0, and out of this loop we are having again another printf after the loop. So, what is the output that we are expecting over here? Since in the while condition we are going to give a Boolean expression, the Boolean expression is going to end up with some Boolean value. So, that Boolean value, if it is a 1, it means that the condition is true, and if it is a 0 then it means that the condition is false. So, here since we have given directly a value 0 rather than a condition, it means that the condition is a false value. So, when this program is executed, for the first time the loop body is executed, because we know that do while is a exit control loop. So, the first time when it is executed, you get the statement in the while loop is going to be printed, and when it comes to the condition checking, it sees that the condition is false. So, it comes out of your do while block and then prints this statement of course after the loop, and there ends the program. So, let us look at the output. There you see. So, you have the statement in the while loop printed for the first time, and then since the condition is false, you are printing again, that is you are coming out of the do while block and you are saying after the loop over here. Another example, we will just look into an example where we will make use of the control break statements. I have a ready program over here wherein we have a variable, an integer variable x with an initial value such as this -1 and the terminating condition, that is x is less than or equal to 10. So, we are checking the condition if x less than 5, it should be continued, that is the loop body is going to be going for the next iteration. If it is not, that is if x value is not less than 5, you need to break. Then the following that within the for statement you have a statement that is printf some value or some message. So, what is the output that you think would be? So, let us look at the output of this program. There is no output at all. Why there is no output? Because every time the value of x is less than 5, that is starting from value -1, it keeps incrementing, that is x is equal to x plus 1. So, it becomes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, until it is less than 5, we simply say the loop body should continue. So, it goes to the next iteration of the loop. So, it would, the control would never come out of this. So, this printf is not executed at all. And once this condition becomes false, that is when x value would be equal to 5 or greater than 5, we are saying break, that is we are saying that we need to terminate this whole loop structure. So, once x gets a value equal to 5, since this break is going to be executed, the control is going to come out of this block, that is there is no output caused from this program at all. So, that is how we are using the control and break statements. Let us look into another example. This is again a very simple example, but which shows some logic controls, that is how and how the program would be executed with these different kinds of control structures. So, here we have a program which is using a do while loop, and we have a variable I is equal to 0, and we are incrementing the value of I, that is I plus plus, and we are printing a statement that is in the while loop, and we have a condition that while I less than 3. So, how many times this program is going to, this loop body is going to be executed? Let us check. So, there you see you have I is equal to 0 for the first time, we are incrementing the value, it becomes 1, and it prints the statement for the first time, then it comes, checks the condition, then again since the condition is true, it gets back, increments the value. So, I would be equal to 2. So, second time the statement is going to be executed, increment, and it checks the condition, since 2 is less than 3, it goes back, increments the value of I, prints the value for the third statement for the third time, and then after that when it comes and checks 3 is less than 3, it becomes a false. So, this control, the loop body is going to be executed exactly for 3 times. So, that is why it is going to end. So, in today's session we have seen the different types of control loop control structures supported by the C programming language, and some of the simple examples that shows the exact logic how these control structures could be used. Thank you.